I'm going to be honest with you here. This animation did take me 10 hours to make, but I didn't sit down for 10 hours straight making it. I did it over the course of 5 days, so technically the title is clickbait. Great, so you're still here. Let's talk about the animation then. This all started when I was 11, believe it or not. I had just moved to a new city, to a new school, and I had just made my very first best friend. We were both really awkward kids and neither of us liked talking, like the action of talking, so we didn't really talk to each other that much or with anybody else. Since we sat next to each other, we used a notebook and drew on it as a medium of communication. There are definitely better ways of communicating, ways that are way more efficient than this, but we were rebels. What can I say? Throughout our visual cartoon communication, we started creating comics. And one of those comics was about a forgotten piece of bread and an egg that had gone sour or bad. We called it Toasty and Eggy. Eggy was the grumpy, sour, mean character, and Toasty was the naive, funny, and happy character of the story. And everything happened inside of the kitchen where they lived. Their adventures were basically small skits, comedy skits, that would just be made for us both to laugh and get entertained throughout the day. A few months ago, I remember that idea that we shared as kids, and it started buzzing in my head and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I really couldn't stop thinking about making it into an animation or a cartoon, which is sort of the same thing. But anyway. I've also been wanting to get into 2D animation for a really long time now. I want to make it into a hobby, but I also want to really learn how to make 2D animations. So I thought it would be a great idea to combine the cartoon idea that I had in my head and the desire for learning 2D animation by myself and just fuse them together. Finally, I decided to make it and I even wrote a script. I also recorded the voiceover, I created a storyboard on my notebook, and I took off from there. I was so excited about this animation that I basically drew it every moment that I could of each day throughout the 5 days that I made this animation. And I did this animation completely on Photoshop because I have no 2D animation education, so I know no better, and that's the only program I know to use for animation, so sue me for that, I guess. It took a total of 10 hours, like I said, spread out into 5 days. This included the writing of the script, the voiceovers that I recorded, the storyboard that I made, and the actual animation. I gotta say, the animation is a little less than a minute long, but boy oh boy, was it tough to make. The animation itself wasn't technically hard to make, but it required a lot of drawings and repetitions of images, because that's basically how animation works. Actually, in professional animations, they use up to 24 or even more drawings per second to portray the movement and to create the animation, create the animated movement, which is just insane to think about. I can't really imagine the amount of effort that must take. My Toasty and Eggy cartoon is pretty stiff looking and it doesn't have a lot of movement in it, and I still feel like I ran a marathon making it. So that to me is very humbling, which I appreciate. But in general, I am super proud about the work that I made. I created exactly what was in my head, and that almost never happens to me as an artist at all. So let me just take a second to pat myself in the back for that one. Because I had so much fun and a blast making this animation, I really wanted to share the story behind it with you guys. This is my first video on this channel. This channel used to be something else and I'm doing a rebranding, and it's a tough thing to do, it's not easy. And I thought this would be a great idea to start this project with. I think going back to my childhood and my dreams and my creations of cartoons and notebooks to communicate with my best friend is a really cool way to start off this journey that I'm on as an artist, as a person, with you guys, which is basically the idea of this channel. And it's also going to be interesting because I want to get into animation more, and this is a good way of doing it, and I can look back on what I've learned and how I've grown with animation as well, which is not my field of expertise, but I really want to try it out, so hopefully it'll work too. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me and taking a moment of your day to watch this video. I love that you wanted to listen to the process of making an animation, and I really want to share the animation with you, which I will do. But that will have to be next week on Friday. But if you're really eager or impatient like me to watch the animation, I will be uploading it on Sunday for my Patreons. And I will also be sharing some behind the scenes of the animation there as well. If not, you can always wait for Friday to come along and see the animation then. There's no pressure, but I'm starving, so feed me, please. I'll see you next week for the premiere of my first cartoon ever, which is the first episode of Toasty and Eggy, which took me 10 hours to make. See you then. Well, this is my outro. Outro? Outro. This is my outro, and I'm supposed to tell you to subscribe to my channel, and you can choose to ignore this. Oh, and also you can like and comment and stalk me and support me on Patreon. Yeah, that's all that it says here.